Hello, WRDSB educators, and welcome back for the 2021-2022 school year. I wanted to share with you some new updates that have both happened for Brightspace and on specifically the WRDSB version of Brightspace. So, without further ado, here is the top 10 new things in Brightspace you should know for September 2021. Okay, so to start, we now have new landing pages for staff and students. As an educator or staff member with the board, you should land on a page that looks just like this. It says WRDSB educators and staff at the start. There is also an elementary student landing page and a secondary student landing page. They're all very similar, but it allows for some kind of customization towards your role in the board and some resources and information directed towards you. To find your classes at any time, you can just use the waffle search course icon at the top, click and search for a course. If you're looking for something that was automatically created with our Trillium Sync, just type in 2122 and you can find your classes that way. You can click pin to pin them at the top, and then they will stay at the top area here in your My Courses area, or you can view just your pin courses as well. Okay. Second off, scrolling down here, you will see the updated Google Workspace widget. This requires a one-time sync with your WRDSB Google account to your WRDSB Brightspace account. If you've done that sync previously in a previous school year, you should just see your information loaded here. This is private and unique to you. If you've never synced your account before, you should see a prompt here to link them. Simply click it and follow the instructions. If you see an old email listed, so I'd add an @Google Apps at WRDSB, you can just follow the steps, remove the old email and update to your current email as a staff member. That would be first name _ last name at WRDSB.ca. Students have a chance to link this as well. Via the settings gear here, you can pop this up and control what it shows. So if you don't want your email showing, you can turn that off and have just calendar and drive and the date format you want to use, and those will populate here. If you click a link in your calendar, for example, it will pop you right out to that event in your Google Calendar. Via your Google Drive, you can find your most recent documents and jump out to them as well. This widget's also included on class homepages. I'll note there on the class homepage, it is private to you as an educator. So on your class page, if you're signed up, you will see your information. If students log into that class page with you, they will not see your information listed there. They will be prompted to link their own account and see their own information. Okay. Scrolling down just a little more underneath the Google Workspace widget on the new homepage this year is a widget called Class Resources. This contains some important links for educators across the system. First off, Technology Enabled Learning Ontario, or TELO, publishes course packages and resources for both secondary and elementary. You can click these links to review the resources. For secondary, it only lets you preview the first unit, but it is a full course content package that covers all the curriculum expectations, has things like discussions and assignments. You can request that form to be added to one of your classes in Brightspace, and then you'll see the full package there. Secondary educators can request a course content package be added with this form, and elementary can request a resource with this form as well. I noted that many of your classes are created with our Trillium Sync via the waffle icon that you can find at the front here, but if you require a class that is not created for you with that Trillium Sync, you can request that here for a secondary new class shell or empty class shell here, and an elementary via the form here. Okay, so that's number one, walking through our new homepage in Brightspace and the icons at the top. I will note too, there are important links here for elementary educators to find quick links to resources, and for secondary educators as well, along with quick links to everything you could want in Google Workspace. All right, number two, making your class active and the start date and end date. So making your class active is not new, but the start date piece is important and new. As an educator, when your classes are here, anything that's synced with Trillium and created for you for this year, the class will start off as an active. What that means is your students can see it, your students can't see it and cannot access it while it is an active, Educators always have access to their classes, whether it's active or not. Okay, you'll also see a start date for it. So again, for anything that was synced with Trillium and created for this school year, if it's a semester 1 course for secondary or an all year course for elementary, it's going to start on the first day of the default of classes, and you can see that listed here. To make your class active so your students can see it and then check out the start date, just hover your cursor over the class and click the 3 dots at the top and then course offering information. This will take you off to your course offering page here. Now, you can see it says active courses active. It will not be checked by default. You can check it to make your class active and then click save at the bottom and it will become active right away. Now, that means your students will be able to see your class in their My Courses area immediately or within a few minutes for it to sync up, but they will not be able to access it prior to the start date. So they can see it there, but it will be grayed out for students until the start date. If you scroll down on this same page, you're going to see the start date and end date. What is new this year is that teachers can edit this and adjust it as they see fit to control access to their classes. So you could just leave it here and students would be able to see, and then only access your class as of Tuesday, September 7th this year. Or I can move this back. So if I wanted to say move it to today, I'm going to email my students and families and let them know. I might set this for 10 a.m. here on Friday and then send an email out to let them know. I can click save. And then if I go back to my homepage now, I'm going to see now it doesn't say inactive across it, so it's there. And now it says my students can see it starts September 3rd as of 10 a.m. And then they would know when they have that access point. If it is active and past the start date, students can click and join your class. All right. Number 3, email in Brightspace. Last year, Brightspace had its own email client, so it's separate from students' WRDSB email addresses. You could email just within Brightspace. Emails from outside Brightspace could not come back into the Brightspace email, and it was 2 separate pieces. Being a Google Workspace board, we've worked to update this so there's an integration now with your WRDSB Gmail accounts for educators, staff, and students. The way this works in your class, I'm going to jump into this class here that I've just made active now. So maybe I've made this active, set the start date for right away, and I want to email my students to let them know about it and that they can access their class. I'm going to click on my class list at the top. And then scroll down and I can see my list of students here. I've got some demonstration students in this class. Now, if I want to email an individual student, I can simply just click on their name and it's going to pop up an email with their to address right in it. I could put in a subject and send this off. I'm going to cancel that. If I scroll up to the top of my class list and scroll across, I'm going to see an option to email class list. If I click that button, it's going to show me the list of my class. So I've got all here. I got 5 users. I'm going to click send email. And I'll get a pop-up here. Now it uses the BCC line, so the recipients of this won't be able to see the other recipients on it by default. I can remove someone off the list if I want with the X. I can add someone else in the to or CC if I would like. And then I can type a subject and an email down here. I can also attach a file if I want to send that with this. Now the key piece to understand for this, when this email sends, it's going to be from a @wrdsb.elearningontario.ca email account. That's going to show the to with your name on the to from it when the recipients get it, like your students. You can always include yourself in the email as well to see it go out. But, and this is really important, it's going to go to all their WRDSB email addresses now, which you can see going out to these, so it will land in their board email inbox. If a student or whoever you're sending it to clicks reply, it is going to reply to your WRDSB email address. So that's the setup in default. So again, we're not using Brightspace Mail anymore. It's all going to be within your Gmail client. It's only going to push from this. And again, if they click reply, it will go back to your board email. If someone tries to copy and paste the WRDSB.elearningontario email, they're just going to get a bounce back to say it's not an active email. other important note for this, as you click send, you're not going to be sending directly from your board email address, so you won't see it in your sent folder. I recommend just including yourself so you know that it did successfully go out in the BCC line. Okay, but that should hopefully help streamline things. There's some really nice options in Brightspace for, again, clicking a specific student to email them, emailing the entire class list with that BCC, or one other option quickly in another class here. If I go to my assignments folder now, and if I click into a specific assignment, so I can see I've got 2 students who have not submitted this task yet. If I click into the assignment, I have an option to email users without submissions yet. So if I wanted to flag it to a group, it will pull up automatically the 2 students in my class who have not submitted, use their WRDSB email, their BCC, so they don't see each other on that email, and then I could send that out to those students as a quick reminder to get onto that task and get it into me. All right, so that's number 3. Keeping in mind the new updates for email within Brightspace and it forwarding out to a WRDSB email address for your students and staff, and a response will go to your @WRDSB email. With the Brightspace email client now, you are not going to see email. It goes right to send only. So you don't have inbox, you don't see your sent emails. It's just a way to send an email quickly from your class, and then everything lives in your WRDSB Gmail account after that send from here. Okay, number 4. I'm going to jump back over here to my class. There is a new class homepage this year. So there's a default system setting. Your class homepage in Brightspace is completely customizable by you. You can edit the navbar to look and have the icons you want it to have or not have. And you can also edit and move the widgets on your class homepage to look and use what you want. One of the big updates from this year compared to last year is last year our default homepage had the activity feed and also the news or announcements tool here. The main reason for that was that the news feed or announcements tool had deeper functionality and more ways to customize your posts, and specifically had the option for add video note, so you could make a quick video right in Brightspace and post that to your class page for students to see. Now, the reason announcements is no longer here by default is that the activity feed has gotten a lot better and some really great updates with it. Okay, and so what I'll cover there with this one is if you click into create post in activity feed and click on create message, you will see you've got a more robust option for a way to add and edit. You've got emojis here and adding links. But within here now, I have the insert stuff option. So I can click there, search for a YouTube video to post right to my class, or specifically add a video note, which is a recording of yourself that you can make right here on Brightspace and post to your class feed for students. If you really want to use the need for feed or tool, there is a quick and easy way to do that, and we'll cover that here in a little bit as well. Also, you'll note on your homepage as you scroll down, there is a new quick eval widget for educators. What this will do is actually highlight submissions from students to, say, assignments or quizzes or other things, the things that you need to assess or give feedback on. It will flag to you new things coming in and give you a quick view and access for what is there for you to view. If you're all caught up, it will highlight that for you. You can click here to jump to view to all activities for your class and see a nice summary in the quick eval experience. This widget is only visible to teachers in your class. Students do not see this. On the student side, and new this year, I'm going to click my profile and click View as Student. And now if I scroll down, you'll see students have a Work to Do widget. What this will do for students, it will flag any upcoming assignments that are going to be due in the next few days for them and highlight and link right to those tasks based on you using due dates across assignments or quizzes or other things within Brightspace. And it will also separately highlight their overdue work. So if there are things that have passed a due date you have set and they have not submitted to you, students will get a quick view and direct links to those options here, and that will be highlighted for them. Underneath, the content browser is there, and also the Google Workspace widget for quick access to your Gmail, Google Calendar, or Google Drive, and be able to click to jump out to those resources. Again, this is unique to each student or teacher. So if a teacher syncs it, it's only visible to and accessible to their personal resources to the educator, and students will be asked to link and sync their own account and will only see their own information there. Okay, so that takes care of our new Brightspace homepage for this year, along with the Navbar setup as well. I'm going to click my profile here and click to end view as student. All right. New thing number 5 for everybody. Talking about this homepage. So again, this is our setup here for default for the system with activity feed, the calendar at the top, quick eval. But if you don't like this homepage, you want some setup, or you want to look at some different options, or maybe you want to revert back to the previous homepage, you can do that quickly and easily. I'm going to click the drop down here. And you'll see also new this year, the course admin tool has, edit course tool, as it called last year, didn't really fit all that it did. So we've updated to the course admin. Functionality is the same, but it's called course admin now. If I click on course admin, I'm going to see a link here for home pages. I'm going to click on home pages, and I will see the active homepage I'm using is the default for this school year. Now, if I scroll down, I'll see a few other options I can pick and choose. The default daylight activity feed is the homepage from last year that had the activity feed and the announcements up in the top left. If you would like to use this one instead and revert back to that one, you can simply go to your active homepage here, click the drop down and choose default daylight and click apply, and it would flip back to that one. You can try the options available to you here and work through those as you see fit. Now, what I do want to highlight, I'm going to jump over to another class for this quickly, is if I go to my home page here, there's a new home page for this year that's an option. So the default was the one we were looking at, but you're going to see this visual table of contents homepage open. If you want to have a look at this and try this one out, it's a really neat feature, I think, for students and staff. I'm going to click through this and click apply. And it's now going to change my homepage to this setup. Now, if I go back to my course home in this class, I'll see at the top here, I've got this visual table of contents. Now I can customize the name of this here and edit that to what I would like it to be. But you'll see these resources here. And again, basically what this is doing is giving you a visual cue for you and your students to the content folders you have here. So these are the main folders, and then it shows the resources with them. It also tracks your progress for each individual user for what pages you have access and which ones you haven't. If I pop over to content quickly, so I'll see my folders here that were listed. I'm going to make this course, let's see here. Let's go to course overview. Now you'll see here it's a blank and I have no information on this page. Recommendation and content, don't put much information on here. Put your resources and key information here. This should be more just like image based and maybe a couple quick sentences. I'm going to edit this folder quickly. And I'm going to drop an image onto it. So to insert an image, click the insert stuff option here and then click on my computer. And I'm going to choose a file. And I'm going to drop a quick image in here. Let's go with a return to school image here for WRDSB. And then I'm going to click upload. And I'm just going to set this to decorative now. And now I've got that image here. Now I'm going to size this down a little bit. And I'm going to center it. And said, course intro for this year. And click save. What this will do on the back end now, so again, I can put resources in this folder. All I have is an image and a quick little title. If I go back to my home page now, you'll see in the visual table of contents, it highlights that image. And if I click the eye, I can quickly see what's in that folder. This can be a nice visual cue for students to bring some image focus to kind of help them track their progress in your class and the resources they're accessing. And if I scroll down here past those, you still have the activity feed, calendar, and other tools available to you underneath it. So it's an option to consider for you for a homepage this year. If you don't like it, again, all your things are saved in the background still. I can go back to course admin, click on homepage, and then click to revert back to my default homepage, and I'll be back to that setting. Really quickly, you can also always create your own homepage from scratch and set it to look and feel just the way you want, use the widgets you want, where you want, and even change the sizing for how they display and where they are on their page. Okay, I'm going to jump back over to my 3C class here. And next one to highlight, so we looked at customizing your homepage. So number 6 now is customizing Navbar links. So again, editing our homepage, your Navbar is across the top. This is again the default Navbar for the new school year. You can see the options listed here. But again, if you're not going to use some of these tools or you want to add your own, simply click the 3 dots in the top right and then customize this Navbar. The first time you do this, it's going to ask you if you want to work with a copy. It just doesn't let you edit the default system. So I'm going to click yes, make a copy. And then I can see my Navbar here. I can reorder things to be where I want them. I'll highlight, you notice we only see portfolio here at the top. That's a view for educators and only visible to educators. My portfolio is a direct link to your personal portfolio, and this is only visible to students. So I can see both here, and you want both here if you're using the portfolio tool in your class. But when it's live, teachers will see portfolio, students will see my portfolio. I'm going to highlight course admin is tied to user role. Teachers see lots of great resources in here. Students see nothing and don't have access to anything they shouldn't. So I recommend leaving the course admin tool up. And this was, again, an update from our edit course version from last year. So again, I can rearrange these. If I, for example, not going to use the quiz tool in my class, I could remove it from my Navbar. But you can also create custom Navbar links. I'm going to click add links here. I can also see the available system resources listed, but I can choose what I want to add. If you remove something and want to re-add it, it will be in here for you. But at the top, I can click create custom link. I can enter a name. So one thing I might be looking, hopefully for those of us back in schools this year, that's where we will safely be staying with our students. But we do have a number of students and teachers in remote learning this year, or if we find ourselves off not being able to come to school for a little bit and going online, sharing a Google Meet with your class and having it right on your Navbar gives you and your students a quick and easy way to connect. So I'm just going to call this Google Meet. I'm going to drop a URL in here. Now, you can go and create your own Meet link and just drop that link in here. But if you want a nicknamed recurring Google Meet, there's a little tip and trick you can use. And it just follows the format of https://g.co/meet/your unique nickname. Now you want to create this something be just that you would use. My recommendation is using the class code and your name. So I might go ENG 2PI-03 Boronsky. That would be unique to me. The description is just for yourself. You can upload an image if you like for this. And I'm just going to throw an image of Google Meet in here for this. So I could add that in and click create. I've now created a custom link here. At the bottom, I can click add, and now it's added to my class. I might bring this up front and center, and then click save and close. And then there I've got an active Google Meet link for myself and my students to use. I can click, and there is my nicknamed unique link for myself and my students to use. Okay, so that is how you can edit your Navbar and add any custom links you want or a nickname Google Meet to your class. That was number 6. Heading over to number 7 then. I highlighted this quickly, but last year we had something called Edit Course. It's been updated to what's called Course Admin now. It's the same tool essentially. If I click on this as a teacher in my class, I get links to all kinds of really important things. I can edit my homepage. I can look at the custom links I've made for my Navbar and edit those. Jump over to pretty much anything you'd want in this class. You can, in assessment here, you can add curriculum expectations to your class here. Lots of options. Some teachers stress having this on their Navbar because they think that I don't want my students to have access to these things. It is controlled based on your role. So again, if I click my icon in the top right and view as student, and then I click the Navbar here, again, you see I see my portfolio now. I can click on course admin as a student, and there's nothing I shouldn't have access to. It's just the things I need as a student. So I could look at my own self-assessments, or the forms, two of those were shared for me. So just keep in mind, it's a new tool. Recommend having it there if you like it, because it gives you access to a lot of important things in your class. Okay, number 8, looking at content. If I jump into the content tool, there are lots of great ways to build and add resources in Brightspace. I can click here to create a new unit folder. I can click on that folder and then add resources into it and have subfolders too. One thing I wanted to highlight that some people miss, again, add existing here is a great tool. You can add things right from your Google Drive, upload files and PDFs to have them embed right here, or click more and embed a doc right from Google Drive here. I really like this tool, or even create a Google assignment right in Brightspace. If you're looking to build out some content from scratch, though, not just have things be built in, say, a Google Doc or slide deck, which you can embed right here, click the Create New option in the top right, and then select HTML document. Basically, think of this like a Google Doc or a Word file within Brightspace, but you're building right in Brightspace. You get a really detailed editor here. You can take advantage of the Insert Stuff option to add a video note explaining the resources you're sharing that day quickly to your students that they can watch. You can insert from YouTube, you can insert from Learn 360, or a whole variety of other things, and insert a Google Doc or slide deck right in this along your other resources as well. The new piece I wanted to highlight for people in these HTML documents, I'm just going to go here and go demo HTML template. Now, this is great just by itself for a way to build out your resources, but if you want to give them a little more pop and a little more streamlined and organized, if you hover your cursor across from the title and click the little drop down arrow to the right of it, you're going to see a variety of template pages. And again, so you can see module intro, learning activity, a video based page, a course intro page, a conclusion page, a whole bunch of options here. I personally love this learning activity option. So again, this is a template to create to give your page some pop, and then that you edit. So if I click learning activity, you will see it popped in here a whole bunch of great information for me. So there's, again, I can edit this image, I can change this activity name to whatever I want. And then I've got headers and text areas. There's a spot for learning goals. You could customize this to be whatever you want. You can have that learning goal set up. There's a minds on, action, and consolidation areas, and then a spot for success criteria. Again, all customizable to you to use the way you see fit and how you would like it to work. There's also new options in the content editor. So you can click the 3 dots here to expand this down. You've got undo or redo here. You can also expand this full screen now. So you've got more screen real estate to edit that content page and focus on what you need to see, and remove that back to see the title here at the top. Okay, so that was content HTML pages. That was number 8. Number 9 for the key thing I want to share this year is assessing with expectations and the mastery view. I'm going to cancel this page. In content, you'll actually see in the top left, this 0% expectations. Now, this is not for assessment actually, this is for content, but it's a way you can add curriculum expectations to your class. You can actually tag your content pages or folders for what curriculum you're assessing there, and then track over time how you're actually covering this in the content area. So if I click expectations here, I won't have any expectations added to my class by default, but Brightspace has all of the Ontario curriculum expectations from K to 12. You can click add or remove here at the top right, and it's going to pop you over to the expectations page in your course. The other way you can get here is via your Navbar. Click the drop down, click course admin, and scroll down inside assessment and select expectations. It will also bring you to the same page. Now, you can add your own custom expectations for things to track in content, and also in a variety of assessment tools. These expectations can be added to a assignment Dropbox in Brightspace. They can be added to portfolio in Brightspace. They can be added to discussion for assessment, or they can also be added to a quiz for assessment. If you're using expectations, it is a default system level of levels 1, 2, 3, or 4. So when you add an expectation, you're assessing it by that level 1, 2, 3, 4. But I think it's brilliant and a really nice way to go about assessment and look at assessing your class, with the caveat that it's not a good option for kindergarten currently because you don't assess by levels. Okay, if I click on import from Achievement Network here really quickly, I can select my jurisdiction of Ontario, and you can see they'll have a lot of expectations in here and options for people. So I'm gonna go to Ontario and then my subject. So I might say I'm looking at language, and I can see it pops up the Ontario curriculum 1 to 8. I can choose a specific grade, and then I can click to expand. Now, really important are these expansion arrows. I personally would not recommend importing all curriculum expectations with the overalls and the specifics, which is what you'd be doing if you check these off. If you click the expand arrow, you can see all the overalls and specifics. So I would quickly go through and grab the overalls myself, add those. If I just click these two to import for right now, you'll see I've now added those expectations. It brings the strand and filters them out. You can edit these and remove them after the fact if you like. Once you've added expectations to your class, you can tag them off to things like assignments. You can add them to your rubrics to use and assess by. And if I click on the assessment tool in Brightspace, you will see an option for mastery view here. This will take you to a dead link if you have no expectations added to your class. But once you've added expectations, you can click and jump right over to your mastery view page. Now, I haven't added an expectation to anything in my class yet to assess, so I'm not getting a view here, but it's a great way to look at it, and you'll see options to add expectations. There's other resources if you're interested in learning more about this. But that was number 9, looking at expectations, adding curriculum expectations to your class, and then using them to assess by levels 1, 2, 3, 4. Why I personally am really excited about this tool is if you're looking at triangulating your assessment and all the different ways you can collect learning from your students, whether it's a quick conversation you had with them, or if it's an asynchronous conversation, say in the discussions tool in Brightspace, if it's an observation or conversation you made that you documented in Portfolio, the student shared in Portfolio, if it's done through a quiz you shared with students to demonstrate their learning, or even in the discussions forum, all of that filters into one place here. So it doesn't matter where you're collecting and assessing and the way the student's demonstrating it to you, you get one view and it tells you this was shown from Portfolio and here's the level on this expectation that you assessed, or this is coming from an assignment. And so you can see that and really look at also the progress for students with most recent and most consistent flag for you as well. It's a really powerful tool, and I think a lot of teachers will like using it. Okay. Number 10, new thing to know this year, there have been a lot of updates to Brightspace Portfolio over the summer. I'm going to jump over to another class here. So from this class, as an educator, if I just click on Portfolio on the Navbar, I will see my students listed and their portfolio items. Brightspace made some really good updates this year to the settings for this and the ways students and educators can view and review evidence. Quickly, it's always good to click on settings at the start of your school year and review how you want this to work. You can add your own categories. There are some system categories. The 4 frames are there for kindergarten educators by default, and there's some ESL and ELD based options for the system, but you can create specific categories for your class that then you or your students/parents can tag to portfolio work as they're sharing it with you. Jumping back to my portfolio page, the updates here. You have new ways to view and filter evidence. So you can look at your individual students and click on a student to see their documentation quickly. You can move back and forth between your students here. You can look at their active evidence for your class or their archive portfolios, which is documentation from old class and other teachers if you want to look at student progress over time or years. Okay. You can also filter by students or by evidence. So now if I click on evidence, I'll see all the evidence that has come in from my students. So I want to see the most recent from the class and just track that way. I can see that with the evidence tab. I can also filter by this grid view or by a list view. I can get insights into whether it's been shared, have I given feedback, have I added categories, or have I spotlighted this for the student. And via the filters tool, I can search by evidence the way I've shared. I can search by school categories that are the default system categories or my specific class categories and filter to see just the things that have been tagged with those categories. All right. I hope you found this helpful. Best of luck with the start of your school year, and I hope as you're excited as I am about some of the new options and tools available to you and your students in Brightspace this year. All the best.